Hello and welcome back to another episode of our Mind, Sense and Soul series, where we help you have a calmer 2021 by looking after this, and all of this. Now, today's episode is all about sound. I'm talking about these beauties right here. And one thing that we often don't think about is sound and all the different things it encompasses beyond just music. Now, you're at home right now with your loved ones or a loved one, and chances are there's only a certain amount of them that you can take before you get sick of them, which is totally normal. We are only human beings after all. And what you can do is use one of these sound techniques I'm about to tell you to switch off, unwind, isolate yourself, and just help your mental health. So let's delve in. So let's talk about sound as a healing therapy, and I want to do it in particular reference to music. Now, this is nothing new. The ancient Greeks were the first people to come up with this, and what they do is play music to people to help lessen the burden of stress, help people calm down who have mental disorders, or just generally try and reduce pain when people were suffering. And if we take that understanding to today, we know that music has a certain imprint on the mind. And whether you're playing an instrument, singing to music, listening to music, or even dancing to music, it sends a surge of positivity through all of your body up to your brain and just helps you to be in a better place. So whether it's rock or dance or even sad music that you're singing to, emotion is there and you're having a release, which is exactly what we're trying to achieve when we're healing with music and sound. Next up is something we've all heard about before, and that is meditation. And there's so many different forms of meditation. You kind of have to either dabble in a few or find what works for you. There's everything from mindfulness meditation to movement meditation to something called ambient meditation, which is actually really interesting. This is taking sounds that would bother us on a daily basis, such as, everyday noises of pipes clicking, chairs creaking, traffic outside, and really focusing on that and following through on the sound journey so that those everyday annoyances actually don't bother us at all, which is a really interesting way of thinking about how sound can actually help us cope on a day-to-day basis. So there's various different types of meditation, and my advice there would be do a little bit of research, see what you think would work for you, and then just give it a try. Because honestly, 5, 10, 15 minutes of meditation each morning or each night can have such massive impacts on your health, well-being, and overall happiness. The next thing I want to talk about is something that has had a massive positive impact on my life, and that is sound hypnotherapy. I know I'm not alone when I talk about having difficulty sleeping. A lot of people have insomnia. I speak to people on a weekly basis who are asking for tips. And one thing that I would always say to people is sound hypnotherapy. There's so many different apps out there that you can use. I know there's one called Calm. I'm currently using one called Breathe. And sound hypnotherapy is when a hypnotherapist takes you on a journey when you're trying to sleep, in this particular example, and they allow you in your mind to picture this certain scene or scenario, whether you're in a field or you're walking up to a castle door and you're trying to picture in your mind what this looks like. Now, because your mind is distracting you from everything else going on and giving you this sense of peace and tranquility with calming music, you just slowly drift off into a wonderful slumber. And especially when my tics are bad and I just find it really difficult to calm down, this has been an absolute lifesaver. So sleep hypnotherapy. If you struggle sleeping, this is for you. Now, I thought I'd end with our last point with a little bit of a confession. You see, I very much like the sound of people eating bars of soap. Yes, I did just say that, but turns out I'm not alone. And this is known as ASMR. It's Autonomous Sensory Meridian Response. And people describe this as a buzz that starts in the brain like an electronic buzz, starts here in the brain and slowly goes down to the neck, to the spine, and leaves them feeling both relaxed and also focused. And when we talk about it on the audio side, I'm talking about people rustling crisp packets, scratching their nails down a chalkboard, whispering really quietly into a microphone, or in my case, eating bars of soap. But in all seriousness, this is something which is becoming much more practiced and, adapted and listened to calming mechanism. And if you go on YouTube, you can find many different clips of this being put into practice. Well, thank you ever so much for listening to some more of our tips. We hope that you have enjoyed them, or at least, you can put them into practice and see if they work for you. And we look forward to seeing you very soon for more tips on mind, sense and soul to help you be better to yourself here, here and, in life. Cheerio.